Now, coming to my experience with the Magnarevo, as you rightly mentioned, like you are one of the early partners for my business, and today, because of you guys, I'm able to communicate rich, deep, and honest content.
Hello everyone, I hope you are all safe at home. I am here with Mr. Gopal Shettigar of Figure It Out Gym Versova, and we'll be having a very insightful conversation with him today. Let me give you a very brief introduction of him before we start. He is a BTech from IIT Mumbai with MBA from Mumbai University and has more than 25 years of experience in the airline industry. In the last 11 years of his corporate life, he was heading key account management and analytics and consulting vertical. So first of all, thank you to come to this discussion in a very short notice. I really appreciate that, and we hope there are a lot of good insights that you have to give about the fitness industry in particular. So just a brief introduction as to how did you get into owning a fitness center.
First of all, thank you, Karan, and the Magnarevo team for having me over for this discussion. And I think it's both an honor and privilege for me to share my insights with all of you, your teams, and your client community. Okay. Now, thought behind the fitness center is a very pertinent question right now. Fitness was always very close to my heart. Having actively participated in many disciplines of sports throughout my schooling and college days, and even post that. And secondly, in my corporate life, having traveled across the continents, there was this great realization as to how little we do in India to give attention to fitness as compared to other countries, like continents like US, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and even Asia and Southeast Asia. In India, I think the fitness is still more or less, I would call it as a vanity case, whereas in these countries, fitness is actually a lifestyle and a need for existence. An important aspect also here is that the aging process, rather I will call it an unhealthy aging process in India. Acquired and generic clinical conditions have a huge impact on how we age and our work productivity. Is something which I have learned over looking at the people. If you go back and look at countries like, say, New Zealand, for example, there are studies to suggest that GDP of the country can go up really by 3%. About 3% if fitness level of the citizens go up by 10%. And this is the gap I'm trying to address and fill through Figure It Out my fitness center in a very small little way. Awareness of fitness across age profile, clearing misconceptions about fitness, and bringing that 360-degree focus on fitness is my first step towards the same. Awareness of fitness at both individual and institutional level is the next bigger goal. And for this, I am looking at corporates and their involvement in fitness. Okay, Figure It Out, of course, has given me the opportunity to walk the talk. And as you're aware, as you could go through our website, there are so many success stories of transformation of individuals, which has given me the required high-end confidence.
Right. I think, sir, the key differentiation of Figure It Out from rest of the gyms is basically how passionate the gym owner is, and even the trainers for that fact. I mean, they are so very particular. When I enter the gym, when I come to meet you, I think that is something which really strikes me, is that the passion that you have towards your fitness center. I think normally I don't see that in any other gym. So do you think that is the main reason your gym is so successful, I mean, and so good compared to other gyms?
Thank you. I think your observation is good. And yes, it spreads across my, team and my, family out there.
I think so. One more important aspect which I want to highlight here is the quality of the gym. Like the hygiene is at its peak. I mean, at your place, and we get to see that in the lot of reviews that you get from your members. So talk to us something about that. Like, how do you manage all those things, and how do you keep it at a level that you always wanted it to be? How do you manage that?
Yeah, a good question. I was always, I would say, a fanatic for quality, and to me, having come from the corporate background, quality is a belief and behavior. It's as much a part of your say values and ethics, as any other, important aspects of business, First step, of course, is to inculcate this culture of quality in every aspect of operations. Like you touched upon hygiene. Hygiene has always been our strength, and it has been also endorsed by our clients. And you yourself, you have had a look at that. And the result is that it emanates kind of a positive vibes. Like so, which makes people love coming to my fitness center every single day. Okay? So post unlock, like hopefully it happens soon when we restart our operations. The transition to hygiene SOPs would be a lesser challenge for us. Okay. Next, of course, is the entire thought process of the trainers and the management itself, which has always been to focus on results rather than introduce a whole lot of workouts, without correlating it to the need, the capacity, the capability, and the fitness levels of the clients. Like so, in a way, every single workout for a client is highly customized, custom designed, and the results are always there to see. There is another important aspect I always believe is in learning. There should be a focus on continuous learning. And a single message to all my trainers and also to all my clients is that we are in the university of fitness and it's not just a gym.
Right, right, true. That is so true. I mean, you also took me through the entire process. Like when a member actually joins your gym, you actually took me through the entire process. Like there's a whole lot of things that you actually measure apart from the BMI, which most of the gyms do. But you actually sit with the client, you discuss all their probably their previous health injuries, and then only you take a decision as to what all workouts or what would be the entire journey of them in your fitness center. I think that is something very unique and which was very good from your part as well. So I think if you could just highlight some points about, say, if I want to join a gym, so what all things should I look at? Like are there any certain things which I should actually go to a gym and then look at things before actually joining it? What is your take on that?
I think one should follow the normal process of buying and keep in mind that possibly you could be buying a lifetime asset when you are enrolling into a gym, right? So first thing is to go back and recognize the need and write down your goals. In case of fitness, of course, the need is always there. Goals could be a bit ambiguous and generic in the beginning. Okay. Then, of course, you should go into the information check. Like today, the digital media is very powerful and you can use that as well as use your personal contacts to shortlist the best fit. Like if you get success stories through reference check, then this place is in. Okay. The most important thing is to visit personally and look for positivity factors like hygiene, vibes, layout, etc. If you feel good, then the place is in. Then another very, very important aspect is spend time, give time in orientation of the place and have a discussion of your goals with the pre-sales champ or even the owner. Okay. At the end of the discussion, at the end of that tour of the gym, if you feel that you are more educated in fitness and at least one misconception is cleared, the place is in. And this is like a thumb rule, like even if one misconception is cleared, that means you are entering into a place where you want to get a better, feel for fitness. Okay. And if you get an opportunity to speak to a client who's already working out, I think you should take it, of course, with permission. And there is nothing better than pearls of wisdom from the one who's been there, who's seen that, and who's done that, right? And I would also insist that do speak to the owner if possible. Okay, if you see the passion, commitment, the result orientation, then this is definitely the place to be in. Like it's said that the tree is as strong as the roots are, right? So, of course, the other important hygiene aspects like the price and enrollment process is also very important because finally you're looking at the value for money, right? So, overall, consider this as an educational tour and experience at each touch point. And the overall experience is something which should make it a final deciding factor of enrolling into a gym.
Right. So I think to sum it up, like cost is obviously one of the factors, but that should not be your main focus. Like you should look at other things as well, like you just mentioned. So I think that is a very key point that you told, sir. I think overall, you should actually feel a positive vibe when you actually enter a gym. I think that is something which is very important, right? So I think, sir, with now social media and fitness, I mean, there are tons of of videos of home workouts or gym workouts where we have really good good looking coaches with good muscles teaching workouts. What's your take on that? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? What's your take on that?
See, it depends on how you perceive that. Like I would say that social media has been both a boon and a bane in any discipline. I mean, not just fitness, and especially in the area of fitness, of course. Like the plus is, of course, the huge awareness that it has brought in, the options that are provided to choose. Right today, you don't need to actually physically go everywhere to kind of at least shortlist your choices. You have social media which tells you what could be the kind of right fit for you. Like in fact. All credit to social media. These days, I would say that health and fitness is also a topic of social power in a crystal room on a Saturday night out, right? Okay. It's discussed in lines with the other topics of, which people normally end up discussing, like. But there are also perils of information overloading, as I call it, like some people call it information diarrhea, but I call it, in a better words, information overloading. It can always leave the consumer confused, like the bigger risk is, falling prey to some explicit and implicit false promises made by many brands about fitness, which run the risk of not just misleading you, but possibly leaving you with a long-term injury. Okay. There are a lot of random videos and inputs floating around, especially these days, as you rightly mentioned. But I would say that it's advisable to check with an expert before trying out anything. Like one thing you must always remember is that by pursuing any fitness activity, you're bringing in a lot of adaptations in your physiological and anatomical systems like respiratory, skeletal, cardiovascular, nervous, endocrine, immune systems. And it could have both positive and negative effects, right? So you need to take it in a very graded way. And that's the reason why the social media has to be very judiciously used by people to understand and, like choose what they need to do.
Right. I think so. I think the issue is with also a lot of injuries, like people just doing workout, looking at a video, right? There can be a lot of injuries as well, which can be which can affect your health for a life, right? So I mean that is something which is also very important, which people should actually realize that you just by seeing a video, it doesn't mean that you can do it or it suits your body, right? So what do you advise people on that? Like how to go up, like now for example. In this pandemic or in this lockdown, most of them were doing home workouts. So what's your advice on that, like as to how people can actually make use of online videos but still be take a preventive measure so that they don't have any health issues or any health injuries later on?
The first thing is they should always go back and consult an expert as to, okay, this is what I plan to do when I'm either starting or restarting my fitness quest, would it kind of, work for me, like, and then kind of a thumb rule, like whenever you go back and see an online video, you basically, let's say a particular kind of an exercise is, they've shown us a 20 repetitions of that. You don't do that. You do 10, let's say. Like at the end of the 10, you feel like, you get a feel whether, like you are there, you're not there, you're exhausted. If you're exhausted, stop. Don't proceed. Okay. And so you basically do somewhere between 60 to 80% of what is being, like shown out there, and go back and see how do you feel 24 hours later. See, it's that's very important, like something which, like, I mean, I'm going back to my philosophy again, like fitness is not about what you do 1 hour in a fitness center. It's about how you lead your life 23 hours outside your fitness center. Right? It's about activities that you perform. It's about how efficient you feel whenever you do anything, and fitness is for that. It's not just that you work out and stand in front of the mirror and look good, right? So that's the reason why you should always give yourself that kind of a time. You see, how do you feel next morning when you get up? Of course, there will be soreness and all those kind of things, but are you up to doing more activities? How was the rest of your day? Were you able to perform your activities without like feeling very fatigued and tired and all that, right? Correct. So I don't think people should jump into anything without actually kind of testing it out, right? I mean, now you talk of trials, right? Even the COVID vaccine has trials, right? So you should undertake this kind of trials and then only come to a conclusion as to, okay, yeah, I should do this or not. But I would always strongly suggest go back and consult an expert, because each individual is different. The person who is performing on the video in front of you is a different individual. His internal and external systems are different. His lifestyle is different. is, I would say, the clinical or any other issues could be different from yours. So how does your body accept any of these changes is something which you need to be very careful about before getting into that. I'm not trying to kind of dissuade people from looking at this kind of things, but you have to be very careful because of the number of spurious things that are out in the market right now. Like, I mean, you just see an athlete who could be a runner just putting up a video saying that, look, this is what you need to do. But I don't want to be a runner. I just want to be fit. Like that's about it, right? So you need to be very careful in choosing this kind of things.
Right, correct. Now, so since you talked about social media, I wanted to talk about how Figure It Out started. Like we were associated right from the beginning, right? When I think Jim was only 3 or 4 months old when we came into picture, right? And we I think we had a very proper process. Like we first finished the website, then we moved on to social media, and then Google, all that stuff. So what's your overall take of a digital brand, particularly for a fitness gym or a fitness fitness center like yours? Like how do you take a digital branding for fitness centers? What's your take on that?
Let me answer this in two parts. One is I'll talk about digital branding and my views on that in general, and then secondly, my personal experience with Magnarevo and your team, Karan. Okay, I think the role of marketing partner and digital branding assumes a huge importance, like in the current world. Digital marketing, of course, has existed for some years now, and it's been more of a broadcast channel, and the switch to digital branding has ensured that the right connection is established between the client, the brand, and the consumers. I would say, good digital branding strategy is highly customer centric. And market win is just happens. It's just incidental. It helps in communicating the brand differentiation, the compelling stories that it gives, performance indicators more objectively, and I would also say that it's a good leverage for word of mouth. Now, coming to my experience with Magnarevo, as you rightly mentioned, like you are one of the early partners for my business, and thank you for that. And today, because of you guys, I'm able to communicate rich, deep, and honest content in a very, very laser sharp way. I can see that now it's from being an awareness creator, my marketing channel has started moving my target audience towards decision making, and by promoting right information in the right way, to the right audience, of course. It's made my task very easy, and it gives me bandwidth to go back and focus on corporate strategy and operational improvement. Right. Today, I'm able to formulate my strategy in a much more complete way with the knowledge that the digital branding activities have provided the right channel for me to reach the consumers. Right. Of course, my goal is now to get to the other end of the spectrum. I remember I come from an analytics background, where customer experiences should be analytically delivered to bring in the objective promotion of result orientation. Right. Of course, back again, a big thanks to Magnarevo team in this current pandemic times, which has helped us to stay afloat by passing through a very informative and continuous reach out to our clients and people out there.
I think so. I think most important part, what me and our team also discusses, is the involvement of the client and the gym. Like in your case, the owner in the overall process. You talked about the reviews. You work so hard to. I wanted to know, to actually make things like even to look at post, if you are there's a lot of effort from your side as well. Should we post this or not in terms of how we are communicating to the users? You are very particular about that. I think that also sets you apart, and that is what makes the campaign overall successful. That's what we believe in. And so thank you for that. Thank you for supporting for those the last 2 years. Thank you for that. Now I think so. I think apart from the food and the hospitality industry, I think gym industry is also the one which has been affected due to this lockdown. I mean, there are a lot of overheads, especially in Mumbai, in a place like Mumbai, where the price of the place is so high. I mean, the overheads are really
Yeah, that's
crazy
why
for Mumbai
I would say
particularly.
that
How
some kind of a
do how
certification,
are you
at least
coping
in
with
a
that?
top
And
schools
what are
like
the challenges
as I
the
said,
gym, this
K11 or
industry
even
is
a
facing right
converter
now?
certified,
And
those
what do
kind
you
of
see?
things have
What do
certain
you? I mean,
values,
how obviously, I
and
mean, you're quite
there are very
optimistic,
good
but what are
kind
your
of
views on the lockdown?
certifications provided by foreign universities also. Of course, as I said, it's more of a science. The pandemic has presented American School of Sports Medicine teaches you a lot of things about downtime mode. Literally, so all these things become very important to go back and check. Be very dishonest if I do not. The second important thing is what kind of an experience a person has on my venture, and as well as entire fitness. And possibly you should of course a lot of apprehension among people around safety at the fitness institute. And when I mean references, I don't really mean that now we are in a situation where neither the cause nor the symptoms or the cure of the pandemic has been zeroed down. Kind of people. So there are a lot of insecurities among support systems around that. It's like a catch-22 situation. Like you are aware that you need to pursue fitness and work out. You need to focus on fitness, and which may not be possible for a doing that would impact your health further. Look at what, while at the same time you cannot discount the inhibitions around going to the social media, right? To go back. Fortunately for me, my client community has by and large expressed confidence in our ability to manage the safety requirements when we resume. And they also give me good positive inputs on their expectations with regard to safety. And I have spent, as you rightly said, huge amount of time in formulating the SOP and keeping myself kind of a future ready while awaiting go ahead and guidelines from the government, right? And I'm fully conscious and aware of the fact, and mentally prepared also of the fact that we will never have a full load factor on day one of resumption, right? And it would be anywhere between 3 to 6 months before we see optimum capacity utilization. To that extent, I would know that financial, a bit of a psychological impact will continue. But I think right now it's a time to focus on safety as much as the health. And if you miss that, either in gym or outside that, we are staring down the barrel of the gun.
Correct, correct. I think, sir, even, I mean, one positive, to look at a positive side of this entire lockdown is people are now more aware that, fitness is important, right? Your immune and your, that is something which someone will have to focus on, right? So do you think that that's a positive sign for your industry?
Positive sign, current, because what has happened is that it has brought in that kind of an awareness amongst the entire population across age groups, across age groups, that you need to go back and look at your health in a little bit more, I would say, concentration, with a little bit more concentration, right? It's not like before, right? So that kind of awareness has come in. As I said, it's a balance between the awareness and the urge and the need to go back and pursue fitness and the safety measures, right? And if I would actually go back and tell my community of gym owners that it's the time right now to focus on safety and take every possible precautions and win the confidence of the client when they start coming back, right? And people will definitely come back, and people will come back more than before. Let me tell you, more than before, because this pandemic has reminded us of the old adage: health is wealth. Right. This is I would say the only positive thing which that has come out of this pandemic. But yes, I think we will pull through that, and people will be back to, and hopefully the awareness of fitness would be much more sharper in India, than before.
Correct. All right. Thank you so much, sir. I think that was my last question. Actually, what would be your advice? I think you're already given the advice to the gym owners in that answer. So thank you for that, sir. I think the key is to stay positive, at least for the gym owners, and for obviously from the members' point of view. I think I think all of them must be very much interested. Actually, very much motivated to actually come to the gym. But hopefully, we should start early. I mean, that's what your thing would be, that it starts as soon as possible, right? I mean, so just to sum it up, when do you expect gyms to open? Just a tentative idea. Do you expect it?
Okay, I'm hopeful that by mid of August we should see some kind of go ahead getting coming in for us. I mean, there have been a lot of grapevine and rumors every week coming up saying that yes, and in fact about a couple of weeks back, government did mention about considering restaurants and gyms. So that is the time when the hope kind of kindled in all of us. But I'm hoping that it happens sooner than later, because see, I mean, it's also a bad feeling from my side, for my community. I have seen that. I mean, you spoke about the impact to the gyms. I've seen a lot of fitness centers were shut down. It's very unfortunate, and I would actually say that most of them would have started with a similar kind of a passion which I have, and today, because of the huge financial impact and of course a lot of other challenges, if many of them have to shut down, it's not a very good thing for the industry on the whole. Okay, I'm not looking at myself in particular, but my hope and prayer is that yes, we'll all come back, and hopefully all these people who kind of moved away should someday come back, and let's make it a very very kind of a national initiative, like to get people fit and healthy aging. Like I'm going back to that healthy aging. Everybody ages, but healthy aging is something which is very very important. So hope we get into that mode very soon. And thank you, Karan. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to give my insights and perspectives. I would like to once again thank you and your team for being a wonderful partner to our business.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and I think we had a really good discussion overall. I think we covered all the points that I actually wanted to ask you. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. So that was Gopal Shettigar from Figure It Out Gym Warsaw sharing his views on fitness. Also, one key message for gym owners and members is to focus on safety once fitness centers reopen, but most important is to remain positive and optimistic. Thank you for watching this conversation. Do like, share and comment if you like this video. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have more insightful conversations lined up for you in coming weeks. Thank you and stay safe.